But I think women can get so caught up. We don't want to be alone. Like, we don't want to feel like we're being rejected or we're missing out or whatever. So we'll compromise and end up doing things or keeping people in our life just for the sake of having people in our life, when they're not actually helping us become who God is calling us to be, or, you know, build certain characteristics in our personality that, like, we know we need to work on. And it's just like, sometimes you gotta be okay with being alone, because at the end of the day, you always have the Lord. I think it's important because I feel like that people struggle with even keeping a man in their life because they don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And they will keep friends in their life because they don't want to be alone. And both them people really need to go, you know, in certain situations.
No, I agree. Because like when you were just saying that, like just being comfortable with being alone, like that was hard.
Yeah.
Like that was very hard.
Yeah.
And it really sucks because it's like, you know, when you don't really see yourself as like the way God created you and the image that you are and what you represent and who you are and whose you are, like your presence, like by yourself, should feel exciting. You know, like it's like you are an amazing person, but like when you don't see that or feel that, like I don't know, it's like you feel like you need people around you or some type of validation or just something to tell you that, because you may not have the capacity at the moment to even realize it or understand how God sees you, which is like how you see yourself, you know, like it just may not be there yet. And I mean, I know that because especially like just during that time, like when I was kind of, you know, distancing myself a little bit from some friends and was just trying to genuinely learn how to love myself. Like I knew like I needed to be by myself, to be with God, to be like in a space to like even try to learn like how to seek him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was such a battle. Like it was like, I don't know, like sometimes it almost feel like a punishment, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for that time because I feel like it literally made me stronger, and it built my confidence up, and like it just my love and appreciation for myself. I'm like, you know, granted, like we're not telling people like, you know, everybody just isolate yourself, but like you gotta love your own company. Yeah. Like you have to. Yeah. Like you gotta love your company, because if you don't, like think about the people you're gonna invite in the space just to fill it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like you gonna be just searching for anybody. You're gonna, you know,
you're gonna let anybody in that space.
Yeah, like just cause like you need, like you're gonna grab whoever's available. Yeah. You know, you're not gonna grab like what you need. Like you're not gonna be thinking about that. Yeah. You know?
Whew, Lord Jesus. That season, because I'm gonna tell you, I feel like God will sometimes intentionally not isolate you in a bad way, but he will remove certain pieces and people out of your life, and it can feel like, hold on, wait, like I vividly remember December 2021, no, maybe it was 2020. Yeah. My cousin had just moved out the house. I got out of my cousin moved out the house. Oh, yeah. Cousin moved out the house in October. Yeah. My dog died in December. January, the boyfriend I had, he and I broke up. Yeah. And then, you know, my mom had passed away the year before. So, I mean, when I tell you my house was quiet, my dad was always gone. And I had to literally get used to the creaking of the floor, like, because the house was it was the most quiet I've ever experienced it. And I just felt like God literally just stripped everything. Take the cousin, take the dog, take the boy. And I'm like just sitting in the house by myself, like, when I say twiddling my thumbs, just like, dang, so what the heck do I do now? And it was like kind of towards the end of COVID too. So, you know, our friends weren't getting together like that. And I felt the most isolated that I ever felt in my entire life. But that was the season where like God grabbed me up and like I really began to get rooted in him and build the foundation for, I mean, of my life, but for the next few years, like just seeing so much fruit come out of that season. But I know that if I would have tried to fill it with just people and stuff, and if I would have let my ex back into my life because just for the sake of, oh, I don't have anybody to talk to, my phone dry, like I don't know where I would be. But like having to learn that lesson and just be okay with sitting with God, because I think too, like I've experienced this myself, but I've also talked to clients who kind of struggle with like, okay, they're kind of in their single season and they know they want to build a relationship with God, but like don't really know where to start. Like in that season, it kind of just naturally happened for me. But I think that was like a really good time for me where I was learning, okay, God, I need you. I know I need you. I want you in my life. But where do I start? Yeah. Like, and what do I do? And, you know, what I learned, I heard the sermon, but like, okay, how do I actually apply it? And that was a season where it really was like, okay, do it.
Yeah. And I think like something big that you just said, is during that season, like, it's like, why is there isolation? Like, what is that isolation? Yeah. And I think what it is just a time where like God's literally just trying to shift your focus real quick. Yeah. Like it's just a shift of focus, you know? And it's not, because for me, like I was just saying, it felt like a punishment at first. Like and even for you, like you're having like all these things getting stripped away from you, but at the same time, like thinking about like how your mindset at least was during that time. Yeah. And it's like God's like forcing your attention. And it's like, shift your focus on me, you know? And I think that's what happened with me. It's like my focus was it wasn't on God. Like it was everywhere else. Yeah. And being in that isolation where I was forced to like learn about myself. Yeah. I was forced to think, which is big because a lot of us, like we constantly have things, listen to things, like we don't give ourselves some quiet time to think. I was forced to search like resources, like listening to like sermons and like find things that felt like they were feeding me and like helping me grow into the area that I genuinely wanted to go into. Yeah. And then once I got a handle on that, where I felt pretty confident, where like I started to get a flow of like, you know, feeling more confident in the person I was becoming, then I feel like you naturally then start to attract more company, more things that are aligned into like the direction that you're trying to go. Yeah. So like that isolation sometimes is like let's just like clear some distractions, clear some space out the way. Yeah. And it's temporary. Like it's not even like I'm not isolated. Yeah. I'm around friends, family, like, I still do take time to myself, which is very important. Like I still do that, but that isolation is different. Like that isolation during that time was like you need to pause and just sit. Yeah, because God is like, I'm trying to take you into a new direction. Yeah. And right now we need to prune some things out of your life. Yeah. Get them out and make space for what he's trying to do. Yeah. Words of encouragement for people in their single season. If you are in a pruning season where God, like you can feel God like removing certain people or certain things or environments out of your life, encouragement wise, I would encourage you to lean into it. Honestly, I know it's uncomfortable. But lean into what God may be trying to do. And when I say lean into it, like
don't try and fill your space with just like a bunch of stuff. Don't just immediately, if someone, you know, invites you to do XYZ, or you know, a guy tries to talk to you, like, don't just immediately react and just, okay, let me just do it because they're showing interest. Like, really be able to take the time and discern for yourself, what direction am I headed in, and does this align with what I'm trying to do, or where I feel like God is pulling me to. Because I think sometimes too, like, we just move a little too fast, a little too hasty, and don't just sit and just really make intentional decisions that are in alignment with who we're trying to be, with our friends, with any type of relationship. So yeah, I would say that, like, just intentional decisions about how you're spending your time in your single season is like really important. So that's what I will leave y'all with.
Yeah.
What you think?
Words of encouragement. The first thing that I'm just gonna go with what popped in my head is, like, every test has a testimony. And I think during that time in your life, like, you know, when you're going through these different tests, like when all these things are happening, you might be losing friends, like disconnecting with people, or, you know, it just, those changes are really scary. But I think remembering that, like, there is a beautiful, like, lesson to be learned, like, in what's happening right now, is something to, like, help stay encouraged about the situation, you know? So, like you were saying, like, lean into the discomfort, but just know, like, there's something beautiful, and you gotta find it. Like, you gotta pay attention and look for it, but, like, there's something beautiful that's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a lesson. Like, there's always a lesson. So just, like, look for the good, and just know there's going to be a testimony out the situation. So
thank you for joining us today. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, please drop them below. Make sure you subscribe to the Get More Fit YouTube channel, and share this with a friend. Share this, I don't know, a family member who you may know is struggling, kind of navigating friendships, or just having a hard time navigating friendships. And if you think that this would be beneficial to them, please send it their way. All right, see you later.
Bye.